deals. And if you want to order by mail, you can also call the toll-free number and ask questions about different specials and combos. Some of the films are as low as $4.95 a piece, like Loose Change Final Cut. Okay, enough of me here ranting about the documentaries. Let's go back to Gerald Celente. But speaking of solutions, you know, I think evergreen is the name of the game in really convincing people. When somebody sees a film I made like Road to Tyranny 8 years ago and everything in it came true, I found my older films are even more effective than my new ones sometimes, because people can go, this guy, how did he know this 8 years ago? Or they can watch my first film made 13 years ago, America Destroyed by Design, and they say, how did this guy know this? It's the same thing with the Trends Journal. You know, it's great to get the latest Trends Journal, which is important to get, on how they're trying to start a war and how they're going to totally implode the economy soon. But it's also good to get back journals. So tell folks how they get a subscription to the latest journal, but how do they get back journals so they can really get an understanding of how important your view of the world is, Gerald Celente?
Well, our website, they could go to trendsjournal.com and just request the back Trends journals, and we send them to you. It's as simple as that.
Awesome. What are some
Once you subscribe.
What are some key journals from the past that you would recommend for people to order?
Well, you know, one of them, in 2004, I came out and said that in 2007, we would enter, quote, the Great Recession. So we saw it back then. And we also saw back in 2001, we knew that gold prices would go to record highs, and we called the bottom at $275 an ounce. It's very simple to see. And it was by knowing that they would begin to lower interest rates to 46-year lows. So you can't keep printing this digital money, not worth the paper it's not printed on, without ruining the economy. And the other ones, of course, we forecast terrorism. Back in my book, Trends 2000, back in 1997. You could see these trends coming, but people they want to live in denial, Alex, but not anymore. More and more people want the truth. They want the facts. The motto, by the way, of the Trends Research Institute is think for yourself. I don't tell people what to believe, and nobody tells me what to believe.
And that was your dad that taught you think for yourself. I mean, my father, he almost gave me the same statements about don't be a parrot, think for yourself. There's an agenda in the media. Our government's supposed to be small. Historically, governments are destructive. Now, that's seen as extremist by Chris Matthews, but that's Thomas Jefferson. That's authentic American. Don't get into debt, work hard, only trust your family, always stick up for your family. That is demonized today, but that's what made this country great.
I mean, who is Chris Matthews? What has this guy ever done? Was he a PR guy for a congressman or a senator or something?
Yeah.
Before this? I mean, they're nothing. Tim Russett, everybody used to bow down to him. Another PR flack. That's all they are. They're all yes men. There's not a man among them. They all work in the Washington Beltway circle jerk. None of them stands up and stands out. Even this guy, Bill Mayer, who, he's a wise guy, this or that. I remember when he retracted his statement when he said the one thing you couldn't call the terrorists on 9/11 were cowards. They're cowards. The paycheck comes first. There's not a man among them. There's not a man in the White House. There never has been in my lifetime other than Eisenhower.
Well, I want to get into the war and when you see the economy imploding in more detail, and that's in the current Trends Forecast Journal. But before we do that, we were talking during the break about how Chris Matthews on a best night has 500,000 viewers, and how medium-sized syndicated shows like this one have millions, several million conservatively, about 1 million more each week on the internet, about 3 million total. Chris Matthews is a legend in his own mind, but because there's a teleprompter, because there's a fancy suit, because there's a bunch of reporters, still some people watching it think it has all this gravitas and authority, but that illusion is now dying. But Chris Matthews and others still think their propaganda's working, and that's a big deal, that whoever they attack suddenly goes up in the polls. I mean, don't these delusional monkeys get and understand that their free ride, lying to people and bamboozling and scamming and hoodwinking, is coming to an end?
Not until they get fired and the ratings keep slipping. Look what's happened to CNN. You know, I've just come up with a new pledge. I'm not going on any more of these shows anymore. I'm very selective. And if any of them want to do it, they could come over to my place and they could interview me. And they're not going to edit it. We're going to do it live because I know the game. I've been around a long time. When you're in charge of the controls, like they are, you can make it look like anything. So why should I give my valuable time up to them? What have they ever accomplished? What have they ever done? They're broadcast blowhards and suck-ups to the political system. So why should I go on their shows? To boost their ratings?
Well, yeah, that's the headlines.
Going down?
CNN has lost more than half its viewers in 1 year. They lost half their viewers the year before that. I mean, they're going to be down to 50,000 viewers on their lowest show, 200,000 on their biggest, if the trend continues in 6 months, according to the Associated Press. Their top show, Larry King, has 1 million. By the way, it's going to be a hot show tonight. I talked to Ventura a few days ago, and I can now talk about it. He's been on there with Oliver Stone talking about New World Order. So now they're forced to let Ventura and Stone on, who will actually talk about real issues, desperately to keep any viewers. So that's actually smart of Larry King.
You mean Larry King? Is it Larry King live or Larry King almost dead? I mean, come on, you know, when are they going to try something new? They're not going to do anything. They don't want it. I know the inside scoop. They want no one with a personality. They're white bread through and through. It hurts the advertisers. Let's get to the bottom line here. A guy like me, I'm bad for business. I'm telling people don't buy anything you don't need. I'm telling people that you're going to keep buying stocks in a market like this as they bring out all these shills on CNBC and other places saying this is a good buying opportunity. Stocks are at a low. Yeah, stocks are at a low. They're at a 1999 low. Remember they told you, Alex, you know, you have to stay in it for the long term. Hey, wasn't the NASDAQ in 2000 at 5,000 and now it's touching 2,000? What is the long term? A couple of generations? Oh, and how about those wonderful legacy stocks like Lehman Brothers and General Motors? No, they don't want me on. I'm not going on anymore. I'm telling you, I'm very selective. I get requests, I turn them down. I don't need them.
Well, I've noticed I only see you now.
I need them.
I noticed the YouTubes I see of recent, because I don't watch TV. I end up watching aggregate clips. I don't watch a lot of TV to be accurate. But I notice I only see you on Fox mainly when it's live.
Yes, exactly. I won't go on any tape shows because they do what they do to you. They sandbag you. You could do anything with editing. And again, these aren't men. There's not a man among them. They're big mouths when they're in their little power bases, just like politicians. The red carpet crowd. You know, they show up in these huge airplanes. You know, they salute. They walk down the gangplank. A red carpet comes out. They strike up the band and they have a parade. And they have all their guards around them. And the crowd is, 100 yards away. Let's talk man to man over here. You'll never get one of them do it because they're little babies. They're only tough in their own arena. If they want to come over and talk to me man to man, we could have a man to man conversation. They'll never do it. There's not a man among them. They're political suck-ups, all of them.
Well, when you have a bunch of cowards running your society who say yes to everything, the worst is going to gravitate to the top, and they're going to become disconnected from reality, and they're going to destroy their own tyranny. That's the good news, is they've created such a tsunami of robbing and looting and stealing that Merkel 2 weeks ago had to put her own blocks in to stop the Wall Street and London banks bringing Germany down. And that brings me back to, you got cut off by the last break, and we went off into other subject because I went there. Gerald, you're talking about war sooner rather than later. You're saying you believe the full collapse will come by the end of 2010. Give us the full breakdown. Let's go through this.
The crash of 2010 is happening. We saw it with the Dow taking a dive and continue to do so as the rest of the world equity markets. The United States has spent, lent, and guaranteed $13 trillion to bail out this system, including bailing out the commercial real estate sector. This has gone on worldwide. The whole EU has done it with their cheap money. Australia, the UK, Japan, South Korea, and China, of course. But China could afford to do it because they have surpluses. It's all running out now. So now we're going to start seeing the collapse. That's why gold prices are what now? $1,200 and about $40, $30.
Yeah, it's world record. World record in Europe, world record here.
And the Europeans know the deal, and they're going to keep buying more of it. Then we're going to see more talk about war. And that's how they divert the attention. History is only repeating itself. The same thing happened in the late 19th.